Hi guys, the Iridiots are here. Look at them. Look, I mean, they lovely looking. I was going to say lovely looking, but they're not really. But they are the Iridiots, so they're they're here. I love you.
We
two.
are lovely looking. God damn it.
We are, yeah.
I was saying how much before we started the show, how much I love you two, wasn't I?
You were.
Yeah. So well, yeah, whatever. So all killer, no filler, total frustration. My favourite time of the year. Whatever. We don't do it often, but we are literally slowing down as we're coming to the end. We're at 2020, and when you talk about 2020, something happened in 2020.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think.
Oh, the zombie apocalypse happened in 2020.
Yes.
Do you remember? Streets were deserted. Streets were deserted.
I bet that I should have put a mask on for this show.
Yeah, we should have all wore one at the beginning. Yeah. Oh, look,
Oh,
there we go.
Right there. Fucking hell.
It's a bit strange though, isn't it, talking about it, because I was speaking to someone actually at work the other day and saying, like, when it happened and it was fully in, like, you know, lockdown and the streets were deserted, I said to my missus, I think at the time, I said, is this it now? Is this life? Is this how it's going to be from now on? And now it's almost like you can't remember it. It's almost like this fact, isn't it?
Thank God.
Which is great, yeah. Thank God for that. Yeah.
Of course, but one of the biggest things that got affected was the music industry, obviously. You know, not just artists, venues shutting down, you know, and stuff like that. Could, you know, that's what they depend on. And someone was said something really interesting the other day. I think it was something. It could have even been like a famous artist like Tony Harnell or something like that was said on Facebook. He said people forget that, you know, when all as well about, you know, they didn't get anything at that stage. You know, they was literally might have done a bit of recording, but you didn't see much of that either. And artists are always affected, aren't they? They don't go minimum wage for artists, for instance. You know what I mean? It's just and I think people sometimes live in the 80s, don't they? Where they think that if a band had a hit in the 80s, what's wrong with that? They must be loaded. You know, that ain't the way it is it? It's just simply not the way, especially now the way that music is. You know, no one makes any money. I was actually looking, what do you reckon's the biggest album? I'm going off topic a little bit here. But what do you reckon was the biggest hyped album this year? It's quite easy. Isn't it? What's the biggest release this year?
2020, you mean?
This year now, 2023.
Metallica.
Yeah. So yeah, I know.
I was going to say Taylor Swift, but I was way
sorry.
No, I'm talking rock and metal, obviously. But you're right, James. It's Metallica. And I was looking at how much their album sales, how much they've sold physical copies. There was a thing on the other day. And obviously, you know, the Black Album was like fucking huge. I can't remember, is it 17 million sold or something? But all the hype this year with Metallica, and everyone knew about it, apart from Dom, right? And everyone was like, and every time a single came out, the hype was unbelievable. And I think they sold about like one or 2 million or something like that copies, physical copies.
How have they sold that many?
I think so.
No, I'm not being facetious now. I'm just saying, you can get to #1 in the charts these days and only sell maybe 200,000 copies. You know,
it might have even been less, but that's worldwide, I think. But I mean, you just think, you know, the hype there's been around the album, and obviously, you know, just on the hype alone, that would have back in the 80s or 90s, that would have really sold a shitload. But that's how music's changed, isn't it?
Yeah.
We're here for all killer, no filler, total frustration 2020, the zombie year. So if anyone doesn't know, we have got a few rules that follow this 20 all killer, no filler. And obviously I didn't know if I was even going to get 12 tracks, but we've done 12 tracks. That's right, isn't it? Yeah.
Yep.
I didn't have a problem with this year.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of bands that held off. I know that. And that would have released in 2020, and they you know, they halted their release because of touring and all that as well. So it's better to bring the release out in it and then tour.
Yeah.
But we did get 12 tracks together. The other rules are you can't repeat songs from albums, so you can't have 2 songs from the same album. And the other rule is that it has to follow the track listing. So your #2 on your list has to be the #2 on the actual album, for example. So yeah, I didn't actually I think it's just when I'm listening to more music, I didn't find it that hard to find, which I thought at the beginning. I thought, is it going to be hard because of the releases? But I've got some great songs on mine, just to let you know.
So this is the year that you started the channel, isn't it?
It is,
2020.
Yeah, and I think it was literally because of the zombie apocalypse that I started it, because I was like thinking, what am I going to do? I was furloughed at the time. No, I wasn't even furloughed actually, because I didn't get furloughed because I lost my job and I just started it and lost it. But I was, for once in my life, I don't think I'd ever claimed universal credit, what they used to call it dole money when I was younger.
Yeah.
And it turned into universal credit, and I had no choice but to claim that. And I was just sitting here, just thinking, what the fuck am I going to do with myself, basically? And then I started the channel. So there you go. That's
the
what
rest is
happened.
history, as they say.
The rest is history.
And now look at you. Now look at you.
Now look at me.
Celebrity.
And now it's my fucking job. I don't even have to go to work. The amount of money I earn. So I'm just looking at my earnings, actually, just if anyone who's interested in watching the channel who wonders how much money I make. So it could even be worse than musicians out there. So my last payment from YouTube was 4 months ago, and it was 51 quid. Right? But this month, I reckon by the end of the month, I'll probably get another 51 quid. Yeah.
Give up your day job. That's it.
In it for the money, aren't you? Yeah.
And I don't want you two fucking asking for a third each, all right? You ain't getting it. Right?
No, you're right.
Anyway, we should get on with this program, shouldn't we? That's enough of us.
We should, yes.
But it was a historic year, though, wasn't it?
It was.
Mm-hmm.
So, not a good one, though, for bands. But here we are. We've got 12 tracks each. As it's 2020, that's an even number. That means Jam the Man is going to start off our list at number 1.
Yep. As we said, it wasn't a great year for me, actually, because a lot of bands probably bought stuff out at the start of the year, but then obviously we all got locked down and perhaps bands held back. There was some good releases, but I've struggled a little bit on this one, I must admit, for the first time for a while. So it's not 100% great, but I think 80% of the songs I picked are pretty good. But anyway, we'll start track 1.
80% killer, no filler.
Yeah.
Perhaps I could just put put the picture as 80%. All killer, no filler.
Yeah, pretty much. Right, okay, we're going to start with Welsh band Those Damn Crows with their second album. Love these guys. Hard rock, stroke, metal, probably not, probably hard rock. Point of No Return is their second album. First track is Who Did It? A lot of these tracks that you're going to see on my list are all, because obviously I was locked down as well. I was working, but I was working from home. I was listening to Planet Rock all day. So a lot of these tracks are going to be ones that were played a lot on the radio that I listened to. Yeah. And Who Did It is a great opening track to the album. Sing along, very, very catchy. Recommend seeing these guys if you've never seen them. Anybody who's watching, obviously they're British, so, you know, American friends won't be so lucky to see them. But it's quite good. It was a download this year. And my friend Andy and I were just seeing a band, went off to go and get a beer, as you do, and you get to all the sort of the hoardings. You have to go in and out, to go up and down to get to the beer, to get to the front of the bar. And I was walking around, I thought, that fella looks familiar. Who's that? Came round and came towards me. I said to my mate, I tell you what, if he's got a Welsh accent, that's the singer from Those Damn Crows. And it was him. So I got to say hello to him. So that was pretty cool.
Nice.
Didn't do a photo or anything, didn't want to bother him, but yeah, that was quite cool. So it was unexpected, but yeah, Those Damn Crows. Recommend them. Song is Who Did It? There you go.
Cool. And they've brought a new album, haven't they, this year? This year?
Yes. Yeah, this good. Yeah, really good. Yeah. That'll be on my list in 2022 or 3. It might be last year, but yeah.
It might have been last year, but yeah. Cheers, mate. Thank you very much. Pretty good band. I like Those Damn Crows as well. Dom, what you got, mate?
I've got well, it's a familiar face and a different guys. So this is British Lion, who are Steve Harris's side band. They don't sound anything like Maiden, so don't get excited. This is more, if you know, it seems like his two favorite bands are Jethro Tull and UFO. So I think with Iron Maiden, he's doing his Jethro Tull bit, especially these days. And this is more his just kind of mainstream rock fetish. The band's good. This is their second album. The first album was actually Steve Harris, British Lion. But this one, they've just chosen to go with British Lion, which is cool, I think, you know, not trading off his name. You know, it's not Steve Harris's British Lion or whatever. They just get on with it and they play clubs, and he seems to be having a ball, so that's cool. The song I picked is City of Fallen Angels. Album's called The Burning. They aren't a major, they're on Parlophone, who've been around since the 40s or something. But it doesn't sound dated. It doesn't really sound, I mean, it is kind of classic, but it also sounds kind of like really kind of modern hard rock. Like, I wouldn't say it's that dissimilar to something that Slash might be doing these days with the Conspirators or 6 a.m. or, you know, that kind of thing. So it's not quite alternative, but it doesn't sound like it's a bunch of 60-year-olds playing, you know what I mean? So I think the singer's good. He's got a real distinctive voice. He, you know, again, it's nothing like Dickinson's Wail. It's just a classic hard rock voice. But yeah, I was pleasantly surprised. I hadn't heard the first album, so I wasn't sure what to expect. But this is definitely my favorite track, the opening track. It really just kicks in and it's good. So yeah, British Lion with Steve Harris.
Well, you've both gone British for the first song, but I'm not.
Oh.
But cheers for that, by the way, mate. Thank you very much. So I've gone. Well, also, nearly enough every year he's on my list, and we can't pronounce his name still. It's fucking Yorny, of course. Yorny is first on my list, and it's a bit unusual for me because this year he brought out a covers album. Okay, and we've spoken about it. Yorny and covers before. Yorn Londe, by the way, in case anyone's wondering. Yeah.
Well, this is he brought out his second covers album.
Yes, the second one. So Heavy Rock Radio, executing the classics part 2, basically.
Yeah.
And again, I think he really excels, although he does metal covers really, really well as well. When he takes something that's not particularly metal, I just think it's just brilliant. So the first song, I think it was a single, Lonely Nights, Bryan Adams. Is the song by Bryan Adams. It was on the You Want It, You Got It album.
Yeah.
And Bryan Adams. I really like the song anyway, to tell you the truth. And obviously, Yorn, it ain't Yorn Londe, it's Yorn, obviously, his band. It's a brilliant version. And I just had to get him on it. Do you know what I mean? And hearing a Bryan Adams song is quite cool, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, he never disappoints anyway, does he? Yorn. So there you go. Yorn and Lonely Nights, the Bryan Adams classic. There you go.
Well, I was going to save this for honorable mention, but since you already mentioned the album, I'm just going to go ahead. He does a cover. My favorite cover on this album is a Peter Gabriel song. And it's just, you know, it's similar to what he did with the Kate Bush Running Up That Hill. He just makes it his own, and it's just fantastic what he does. I do like the original of it. But man, I just love his out there picks, and then he just reconstructs them into like a metal landscape.
If you're listening, Yorny, we fucking love you, man. We do.
What song's that, Don? Sorry?
Rhythm of the Heat.
Oh, right.
Security. Yeah. It's so good.
Yeah, he is really good. He doesn't take the easy cover, put it that way. He takes them where he can really transform them. That's brilliant. It's absolutely excellent. There you go. Yorny's my first choice. We're on the track 2. What you got in, Jan?
Okay, I'm staying British, although some people might not realise they're British, and that's the band Bush. Obviously got bigger in America than they did over here, probably. I've never really ever been on my radar before, particularly. Never really heard any of their music. Sort of the band I probably dismiss a bit like Creed, that sort of thing. I put them in that bracket. But obviously, once again, played on the radio all the time. They released a new album. It was called The Kingdom. This is the title track from that. The first track on the album, Flowers on the Grave, is brilliant as well. Really heavy. I was surprised by the riffage on this. Didn't think Bush will like that. Maybe it's their heaviest album. I don't know. Don't know anything about Bush. But yeah, really love this song. Played it a lot on the radio. Listened to it all the time. I guess they call them post-grunge. Don't know. I guess that's what they fit under. But yeah, pretty heavy sort of. It's just a catchy song. I mean, I was surprised when I heard this, and I was surprised it's on my list. But you know, you like what you like, don't you? And this album is pretty good. So there you go. Fans of people who perhaps never checked out Bush, you might be like me. Maybe check them out because they are pretty good. I mean, got Gavin Rosendale, is it singer?
Rossdale.
Rossdale, yeah, he's got a great voice, and I do like. I might perhaps check out some of the later stuff. But there we go, Bush, the Kingdom.
Thanks, mate.
Yeah, they were huge in the States, so
yeah,
got my fill of Bush in the first couple albums. Man, you just couldn't escape it.
Yeah,
I think the first album, I think there are maybe 6 singles off that or something. Just crazy.
Is that Swallowed or something? Was it called Swallowed or?
That was one of their tracks. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that one. I do remember that. I don't really. I know I'm not a hateful person, but he's a bit of a twat. I think when he talks, that guy. I don't like him. I don't know why.
Bit of a posh twat.
Yeah, he just talks like he's a bit better than everyone else. One of them sort of people, you know.
Yeah.
I'm gonna edit this video because of the part that Jam just said. I don't know a lot about Bush. I'm gonna edit that and just put it out there.
It's gonna be your new ringtone.
Yeah. Anyway, thanks, Jam. Cheers for that, mate. Oh, by the way, Creed are back together if you're interested, Jam. Just mention
they are. Yeah, great.
It must be time. It must be time for the mortgage payment.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Well, I saw Slash was going out doing a solo tour, so I presumed that Miles was busy, so I thought Creed might get back together.
Yeah, the singer's probably run out of some, prescription drugs or heroin or whatever the fuck he takes.
But it's only Christian smack. It's only Christian smack.
Oh, okay, that's all right. That's all right.
Yeah. All the pills he takes are blessed by them.
Well, as long as you can confess afterwards, it doesn't fucking matter.
That's it. You can do what you want as long as you confess. Yeah.
Right. Okay. What you got in? Don?
Okay. Wow. All right. I've got Black Swan, which was one of my favorite records of the year. Anybody who doesn't know, probably most of our viewers, I think, would at least have some idea. But this is Robin McCauley on vocals, Reb Beach on guitar, one of my favorite guitar players, Jeff Pilson on bass, and some scary-looking guy as the drummer. He looks like G.G. Allen or something, but I don't know where he came from. This is the second track, which is this song still gets stuck in my head 3 years later. I'll just be doing whatever, and then I'll just be singing the chorus. I don't know why. It's called Big Disaster. The name of the album is Shake the World. They are on Frontiers, and this was a single. I don't know if it was the only single, but there was a video for this. Just great, man. That chorus just gets stuck in your head. They have a second album, which is quite good as well. So, one of those Frontiers projects. I don't think they've ever played live. Who knows if they will. But man, if they're making great music that you can enjoy at home, it's still a band. People have some shit to say about these Frontier projects, but if the quality of the record's good, man, I'm all good.
Yeah, I've only got shit to say if the quality ain't good. It's that is a good example of a good project, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, nothing's going to be 100% out of the park, but I'm just glad that Frontiers are around to promote these older artists, but in new guises, and work with different players, so it's a bit fresh, and I enjoy it. So there you go, Black Swan.
I think they are more a band because I think they get more involved in the writing as such as well. That's the most important thing. So they become their own sound rather than an outside writer, But absolutely. No, very cool. Cheers, mate. Thanks for that.
Sure.
So this next one, I'm a bit jealous of Jam actually because you got to see this band, and they're fast probably becoming maybe my favourite band at the moment. Definitely up there. And that Spirit Adrift, you got to see them at fucking Download and sent me a photo just to annoy me, and but it's my own fault I didn't go. But this would have been the band that, if I missed them for some reason and I was there, that would have been it. I would have fucking been murdered. But I love Spirit Adrift. What were they like, by the way? Were they excellent?
Yeah, they were excellent. Yeah, I was listening to a lot of their stuff before I went, and obviously they only had a short set, so. They've got some quite long songs, haven't they? But that was just brilliant. Yeah, wasn't massive amounts of people there, but it was definitely worth it, and it was in the tent, so it got out the sun a little bit, so it was good. I enjoyed it.
So I mean, they've just got. You said you've started listening to some of their music, so at the beginning they almost like they were all right, and then through time and their albums have just got better and fucking better, and the next one is out this year, and I'm just so fucking excited about listening to it. But on this year they had Enlightened to Eternity, the album. So this is the last actual proper album they brought out, because they brought out like an album of covers last year with a couple of original songs on it, and it's sort of really cool covers actually on that. I'm going back to that because it sort of just explained how they sound, and they do sound like a weird mixture of like Lynyrd Skynyrd, Sabbath,
classic metal,
Corrosion of Conformity, stuff like that. And they're fucking brilliant. They really are. Yeah. So this was the fourth album. They're from America. Nate Garrett is I think he used to play all the instruments on the earlier albums. Now it's like more of a band now. But he was in a band called Gatecreeper, which I've never heard of. They're a death metal band. And then he left them, and I think he was doing Spirit Adrift on the side sort of thing, and now it's Spirit Adrift's his band, you know. And this is like I said, a medium-paced, Sabbathy, doomy, with little bits of southern elements dotted in. It's fucking brilliant. The song is called Astral Levitation, and it's excellent. Probably the standout track on the album as well. Love it. I don't know if they played it. I don't know if they played that one.
I think it was on my playlist to listen to, but I was listening to it before I went to see him, so I think it was on there. But without checking setlist.com or whatever it's called, I wouldn't.
They got a little bit of Thin Lizzy in their repertoire, I would say. Just in that.
I think Dom would like them actually.
Yeah, a little bit of twin lead. You know, occasionally the second guitar comes in. I think Dom, you would actually love them, to tell you the truth. But you know,
I'll have to check them out. I mean, don't know anything about them.
No.
Cool.
But they're excellent. Spirit Adrift, Astral Levitation. There you go. That's my track 2. Track 3. What you got, Jan?
Okay, one of my favourite bands, Pearl Jam, released a new album this year. Gigaton. Their 11th album. As I've said about Pearl Jam for many years, I still love them, but nothing compares to probably the early days. There's a couple of good tracks on there. Super Blood, Wolf Moon is quite good, was one of the singles. But this song, Dance of the Clairvoyance, wow! When I heard this song, you wouldn't believe it's Pearl Jam. I mean, this could not be further away from Alive or anything like that from 10, but I absolutely love it. I don't know what it is. It's got a dancey feel to it. It's got like keyboards. It's just so strange for Pearl Jam. I don't think they've ever done anything like it. But even from the first listen, it's like, wow, that's really good. So it's Dance of the Clairvoyance. It's like I say, if you've only ever heard 10 and you listen to this, then you won't believe it's the same band. But brilliant. I love Pearl Jam. This song's great. Very different. Saw them live at Hyde Park last year. It was absolutely brilliant. That was the third time I'd seen them, which was amazing because they don't like playing over here, the bastards. So I check it out. Gigaton, gone an average album, I'd say, but this is one of the standout songs. And Pearl Jam. If you get to see them live, you're in for a treat if they ever come back again.
Thanks, mate.
I'm actually
go on.
Right, go ahead. I was just going to say, I'm actually intrigued enough to maybe check out this song.
So, well, you're not a Pearl Jam fan, obviously, Dom, so it might be a bit of you, this one, you know, if it sounds a bit different.
Have you heard it, Lee? You heard the song?
No, I sort of, I think I lost my way with Pearl Jam. I carried on listening to them, I think up to probably about the Yield album. And then it became a bit like you say, it's almost like less and less songs, you know, that gripped me, if you like. And then I sort of left them behind. But it doesn't mean that if they bring anything else out, I won't, you know, perhaps now with the channel going at that, perhaps I will give them a go.
I mean, they're still great musicians. They still write some great songs. It's just not the same. But I mean, they evolve. That's fair play. The bands don't have to stay the same. I mean, check out Avenged Sevenfold, as we know this year. I mean,
oh yeah, what the fuck? Joy Don might like a bit of that this year.
What's that?
Well,
Avenged Sevenfold.
We're talking about Avenged Sevenfold. I mean, if you want a band that don't fucking sound like they fucking sound, mate, fucking hell.
Oh, is this? I haven't heard anything off the new one. So is it a lot different?
Well, you know that song
mate.
"We Love You" they brought out. I thought it was absolute shit when I first heard it, but I actually really like it now. It's so bizarre. It's so bizarre. It's great.
Yeah, it's a really proggy. I mean,
Really?
oh,
Yeah.
fuck, I mean, like it's really
So weird.
it's a bit unlistenable for me. Really, I tried, but
All right.
yeah, I just can't get on with it. It's not just the proggy nature of it. If it's so fucking disjointed to me. It's just, you know, like the transitions from one thing to another. It's almost like 10 things spliced together that are completely different. It just doesn't make any sense to me. I understand why they do it. I haven't got I haven't named a go at them. They want to do what they want to do, but fuck me.
Yeah.
It's different just to be different, basically, because they're bored.
Maybe. I mean, they have said if you don't fucking like it, don't listen to it. That's what they say. But yes, fair enough.
Fair enough. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. We'll just talk shit about it on this channel.
Yeah.
I'm sure it bothers them immensely that we're talking about their poor new album.
Yeah, I did think about doing a review on it, because they are big enough for me not to worry. Then, you know, I'm about upsetting anyone, but I couldn't even fucking sit through the whole album. I got to like track fucking 7 or something, and I was like, what the fuck? I don't know what's going on. And to tell you the truth, people were saying you got to listen and listen and listen, but I ain't got fucking time to do that. I might not like in the end, you know.
No, I know what you mean. Absolutely. This isn't the 70s where you only get to buy one record a month or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, if I bought that one record, I'd be fucking well disappointed.
Well, you know, I mean, but that's the one that you'd have to listen to because you spent your money on it, and probably after 20 times because you want to get your money's worth, you might actually love it.
I like that one riff on the third song after the 20th time.
Man, I'll definitely have to check that out. I didn't know there was a controversy about a new
Avenged Sevenfold. It's like, it's so, you know, the fans are obviously, some are just saying it in a ridiculous way, and I don't care what you say, it's the best thing they've ever done, it's amazing. And then others are like, what the fuck is going on? Get back to Nightmare or whatever, you know. Anyway.
Okay.
And if you say you don't like it, you just got no taste and you've got no open mind, have you? You know?
Yeah.
There you go. We Love You by Avenged Sevenfold and Dance to Clairvoyance by Pearl Jam. There's your listening list on. There you go.
Okay. Who knew that was going to happen today?
Brilliant.
Right. So my number 3 is a bit complicated. It's LA Guns.
It can't be as complicated as fucking Avenged Sevenfold.
Yeah. This is kind of like an Avenged Sevenfold song. This is LA Guns, but it's not Phil Lewis and Tracy Guns. This is the other one, which is Steve Riley and Kelly Nichols, who are the rhythm section, basically. I won't go into it too much, but Tracy Guns left LA Guns quite around the 90s. Did various projects. I think he had an album called LA Guns that was just terrible, called American Hardcore, and it was really thrashy and just, it was terrible. But Phil, the singer, and the drummer Steve Riley, they continued on, made a few records and toured as LA Guns, and everything was fine until Phil left to rejoin Tracy Guns into a new LA Guns. So you basically have 2 bands as LA Guns now. So this is Steve. So as I said, it's a rhythm section with a new guitar player and a new singer. I love this record. I've been really disappointed with the Phil and Tracy albums that have come out so far. Saw them live. They were really good. Fantastic. But I think they've had 3 albums now since they've been back together. And I don't think they have. I don't think there's put enough time in songwriting or whatever. So I was surprised and quite happy to hear this. So this is the other LA Guns. They're going to have another album this year, I hope. Well-Oiled Machine is the name of the song, and it's on the album called Renegades. This is on a record company called Golden Robot, who I didn't really know much about, but I looked into their history, and they released the last Hardcore Superstar album, at least in the States, I think. They have Little Caesar and The Answer, and so they're kind of pretty good roster so far. The music is just, it's your Sunset Boulevard sleaze, that's all there is to it. These two young guns on guitar and vocals have really kind of taken it up a notch, and I'm not saying it sounds much like LA Guns because it doesn't have the singer or whatever, but it's a great rock record. So I don't care what it's called as long as it sounds good to my ears. So there you go. This is the other LA Guns.
Just one. Are they both exactly the same name, LA Guns, or is it Steve Riley's LA Guns?
Well, exactly, I think Steve had to tour as Steve Riley's LA Guns, but on the record, there's no mention of that. It's just LA Guns.
Yeah. You wouldn't think it'd be possible, would you? I mean, at least Queensryche in the end went Operation Mindcrime and Queensryche. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. I don't have any idea what the legal ramifications of that are. I think it's weird too. You'd have to have some sort of separation between the two. But apparently,
Ghost in America had to put Ghost BC, didn't they, on their album covers?
Because there's another Ghost that nobody knew of. Well, so did Wham. So they had to be Wham UK in the States because there's some.
Okay, didn't realize that.
Yeah. Anyway, so LA Guns, man. If you've been, I know it's complicated to get into, but just the great rock record, just great mainstream sleaze rock record. So there you go.
Thanks, mate. Well, only you could have explained that properly. So thank you very much.
I mean, I probably didn't even. I've only scratched the surface, but that's it in a nutshell.
Cheers, mate. Thank you very much for that. So I'm going to my number 3. We're at number 3 and B. I'm going to Frontiers. We're going to go to the Frontiers label. This was their debut album, a band called Stardust. They're a Hungarian AOR melodic rock band, but a real standout band for sure amongst the fucking, what would you say? I mean, a song for many bands. I don't even know what you call a group of bands, of many bands. I don't know, but
a flock of bands.
A flock of amongst the flock of AOR melodic rock bands.
Yeah.
Stardust is definitely one of the better bands. So they brought out Highway to Heartbreak, which is their debut album. It's unbelievable. It's a debut album. It sounds brilliant. The song's Bullet to My Heart. It's actually requested as I think I did a reaction to this as well, and I loved it, and that's what got me into the band. It's just real sort of 80s guitar driven, really cool synth touches come in at exactly the right time. Do you know what I mean? But when you don't mind synths when they just work really, really well.
Yeah,
it's so catchy. They brought out an album this year as well that's made it into my top albums of the year so far. Okay. They're a brilliant band. They're absolutely brilliant, and every song is just, it's almost like, it's soundtrack stuff. You can imagine it on an 80s film or something. But with a lot of real modern production. It sounds great. They are excellent. So Stardust, Bullet to My Heart is my track 3. There you go.
Cool.
Thank you, Frontiers.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, track 4.
Okay. Looking at my list, I realised I've got half of mine is British actually for a change, so that's pretty good. I've been to Wales, got some Scotland coming up, but now we're in England, and local to me were based here, which is the Struts. From they were based in Derby, and this is their 3rd album called Strange Days. There's some big hitters on this. They got Robbie Williams is singing on their 1st track, I believe, is guest vocals. Got Tom Morello's on one of the tracks, but this one is called "I Hate How Much I Want You." It's very, very. It's got Phil Collins and Joe Elliott on it. You can tell it's that sort of sing-along Def Leppard-y type. Doesn't sound like Def Leppard, but you got their influence on it. It starts off with a great phone call that Luke gets from Luke, the singer, from Joe Elliott saying, "What are you doing? Oh, in lockdown." He's talking about being in lockdown. What should we do? He goes, "Let's do a song," and then they go into it. And it's just a great, happy anthem, if you want. I hate how much I love you. I want you. Sorry. Yeah, there you go. It's just big, catchy typical Struts. If you haven't seen the Struts, or you have seen the Struts, I mean, Luke is a great front man. He's almost like a Freddie Mercury of the rock world. He reincarnated. He's brilliant. But the Struts really good. I think they've got a new album out this year. They're on tour later. Don't know if I'm going to see them or not, but they are out later this year. Seen them a few times, and this album is really good. I Hate How Much I Want You, track 4. There you go.
Thanks, mate. Thank you very much. Right, Dom, what you got, mate?
Right. I've also got an English band as well. This is their first album, so it's a young band. They're called Collateral.
Oh yeah.
This is their first album. Now it's been re-released last year as Rewired. It's got a different track order, and they've added some songs, and they've put some overdubs. They've got like Jeff Scott Soto and Joel Hoekstra and various other players coming in and laying like a guitar solo or duet vocal or something. So I haven't heard this newer version. I just know the original, which is good enough for me. This track's called In It for Love. I would say it's kind of Europe-ish. I saw them live, and they're just mainstream melodic hard rock band, maybe Bon Jovi back when they were good, that kind of thing. But yeah, they were quite they're all quite young, but they were great. They opened up for Reckless Love when I saw them, and then they got a Skid Row tour as well after that. So I think things are kind of moving. They must have a pretty good agent because they're getting a lot of kind of name tours. But yeah, I think they're from Kent.
Wow. Where to be from?
Yeah, I think I read that it's Kent. Yeah, but yeah, they're a good new young band. Hopefully they'll get some proper new music out soon, and see what they do with their second album. But yeah, I enjoy the record. So Collateral, self-titled record.
Cool. Thanks, mate. From Kent, where I grew up. Brilliant. Thank you very much. Okay, so we've done a lot of British bands so far, haven't we? So I'm going as far as you can go to Australia for this one. So this band, so I remember when this band got in contact with me, only through Striper. It was a bit strange. So they saw some of our Striper stuff. And when Striper went to Australia, they actually supported them. But they sound nothing like Striper. That's nothing like Striper. They're a straightforward sort of rock band. Because I thought when I heard them, I thought, well, that's a bit, it doesn't match whatsoever. I suppose when you're going on tour, you just get put with bands, don't you? And they just find bands for you and that sort of thing. But I think they just supported them like on 2 dates. But man, this band, I can't wait for them to bring out more music actually. So the album, the band's called Sonic Divide. The album's called The Other Side, and the song's called When It Bleeds. It is a ballad, obviously. I love a ballad, but it's very epic, a real epic ballad. This is the second album. Loads of emotion in it. It's really well sang and performed. It almost gives me I'm Not in Love sort of feels with like the backing vocals and stuff like that. Like really like very cool and sort of.
You mean the 10cc song?
The 10cc. Right. Almost feels of that. Literally because of the backing vocals and stuff like that and the atmosphere in the song. And it builds and it builds and it gets quite heavy. And it's probably one of my favourite ballads I've ever heard, actually. Oh God, fucking cat, honestly. It's just a twat, isn't he? And it's almost like the title track because the album's called The Other Side and it says The Other Side a few times in the song. So it's almost like the title track, but not being a title track, you know what I mean? When It Bleeds, it's just amazing listen. It really is. The best song on the album. And one of the best songs I've heard, actually, about a boy. So excellent. All right.
Wow. Cool. That's a large statement for you.
I know, and I like a lot of ballads, as you know. So there you go. So it must be good. It must be good.
Right on. Cool.
Right.
I mean, I'll have to listen to that too now, I guess, if it's one of the best ballads.
Oh, mate, it is amazing. You will really love it. I think you both would. It would become a state. It's one of them songs. I mean, even my missus put it on my playlist. I just love that song. I'm like, all right, okay, she's on her playlist. I know. Track 5, guys. Jam, what you got, mate?
Okay, I'm going to America for my next couple. This is much maligned band, love them or hate them, a bit like Marmite. That's Five Finger Death Punch for their 8th, if you believe it or not, 8th album.
Wow.
The album is called F8, and the song is called A Little Bit Off. This is another earworm that wasn't off the radio all that year when we were locked down, so I probably heard it about 20 times a day. But it's just really catchy, sort of acoustic. It's not a heavy song for Five Finger Death Punch. They do pretty heavy. They're just, I don't know. I can see why people don't like them. You could say they're painted by numbers metal band, I guess. But I like some of their stuff. I wouldn't say I'm their biggest fan. I wouldn't say I hate them. But this song, A Little Bit Off, is just really catchy, acoustic-y, sing along. You know, it's very inoffensive, and it's just really good. I mean, you know, people like to hate bands for the sake of it, don't they? I think they get a bit too much. Even Moody can be a bit of a knob sometimes. But go on, you know, who can't? We said that about a lot of singers, haven't we? But I like Five Finger Death Punch, and this is a great song. A little bit off. Yeah, I guess it's probably. It feels like it's not a beat song, but I guess it's a downbeat song, if you know what I mean. It's singing about being obviously off, you know, if you know what I mean, not having a good day or whatever. But no, I like it.
Cool. Thanks, mate. I've seen them live actually at Download, not by choice.
Yeah,
I'm not saying they're bad either. You know, I don't know, they seem very inoffensive to me. I mean, people would get a bit upset, don't they? Perhaps have they gone from like being really heavy to being not so heavy now? Is that the problem?
Well, the first album was pretty heavy. I mean, Bleeding and that, it's pretty metalcore. There's a lot of screaming in it. Songs like The Bleeding on the first album, which I loved. Yeah, they're probably less heavy. It's still, yeah, go on. As I say, they're like a sort of how do you create a metal band? Oh, we create one and it sounds like Five Finger Death Punch, if you know what I mean. They're very generic, but still good. I like them.
I think you guys are just hit it on the head when Lee said they were unoffensive or inoffensive. That's probably why.
Yeah, I suppose it's what
generic.
You know, it's what metal's supposed to be the opposite of, and it's supposed to be something that is a bit out there.
Dangerous.
Yeah. Okay, thanks, mate. Cheers for that. What you got then, Dom?
What have I got? I got another new band, new-ish band. This was their second album. Sweden, going to Sweden, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
This is Perfect Plan.
Yeah.
Time for a Miracle is the second album. This track is called Every Time We Cry. Again, Frontiers Records.
Yep.
Man, this is great. This is just fantastic AOR mainstream rock. Just really good song. This song is great. Reminds me maybe of Survivor, and maybe Bon Jovi, like first album. You know, it's got kind of those keyboard punches, kind of like Runaway or something along those lines. But well executed, great singer, great production. Just one of those Frontier bands that if Frontiers didn't sign them, who knows if they would ever have gotten signed. So well done. I think they've had at least one album since this, maybe two.
One. They have one. Yeah.
So they're on the way up. Hopefully more people will hear of them. But yeah, thanks, Sweden.
Well, it's a bit strange you've coincidence, I suppose you could call it. So I just uploaded a Kent Hilly, he's the lead singer. I uploaded he's had a couple of new songs out. He's got a solo album coming out this year.
Oh, okay.
And, he's like you said, he's a great singer, and you obviously have got an ear for singers because you mentioned Survivor. So a lot of the Kent Hilly fans are saying that he's probably the perfect fit if they ever did something again. Do you know what I mean?
Survivor. Oh, really?
Especially Jimmy.
I
mean, if you actually put him along the late Jimmy Jameson, there's a lot. You can really hear that in his vocals. So yeah,
good.
You obviously.
I didn't know they were. He was in contention for anyway. Yeah.
The only thing I worry about with Kent Hilly is one of these artists, and you can't blame them because they need the work. Because, like you said, we're talking about how much money artists get now. He's in Perfect Plan. He's had his second solo album coming out. He's the lead singer of Giant now.
Oh, is he? Okay.
Yeah. And you know, he's across so much. Do you know what I mean? You sort of, I love his voice, but you just worry for them artists. It's a bit like Ronnie Romero, isn't it? He's on everything, isn't he? You know, and then in the end, it's just like, but he has got an absolutely amazing voice. But sometimes they try and, you can't blame them for working, but at the same time, it can be overload a little bit, can't it? Sometimes.
Yeah.
But he is a brilliant singer. You're right, and that's probably, out of all the things he does, Perfect Plan is probably my favourite thing he does.
Yeah.
On the more heavier side, his solo stuff's very AOR, really AOR.
Oh, okay. All right.
No, very cool one. Cheers for that, mate. Just a bit of a weird one, that, because I've only just uploaded that this morning, just hearing all the Survivor stuff. It's quite cool.
Oh, really? That's hilarious.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm not really going AOR though. I'm going quite heavy now. So a classic band though, Testament, brought out their 13th studio album, Titans of Creation. And this is really, I think I started getting into Testament here and then went back a little bit over their newer albums. And man, they're just as good, even better with that modern sound, that production they got as well. Because way back when, in the early 80s and stuff, when they first came about, the production on some of those thrash albums, and apparently they're all done by the same producer and in the same sort of studios, and they all was a bit, I don't know, muddy and thin, and But now you hear that the guitar on a Testament album is like, fucking hell, you know? I mean, it just hits right. So obviously they're from America, the classic thrash band, probably one of my favourite thrash bands. The song City of Angels is quite a long one, about 6 minutes and something long. It's like a medium paced track. It's about Richard Ramirez, the Night Strangler. In the 80s. It's a brutal song, and obviously with the what it's about and the way the riffs are, it's just fucking evil sounding, but really, really heavy. But obviously the vocals from, is it Chuck Billy?
Chuck Billy.
I think they're just perfect thrash vocals. You know what I mean? Because he's not screaming and shouting like fucking metalcore or anything, but he's just got that right amount of aggression for Testament, and I think he's fucking excellent. I think they've got another album coming out next year now, I believe, because I was really waiting to hear some new music this year. But yeah, Testament, City of Angels, their last 4 or 5 albums have just been amazing. They really have. So check out.
Is this the last album that they've done?
Yeah.
Sorry, Lee. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So we are due it 4 years. It'll be next year. So yeah, we are due an album. Brilliant album. All the way through. City of Angels is my favourite track as well. So there you go.
Cool.
Okay, track 6, guys. What you got, Jan?
Okay, I'm staying in America, as I said, and going heavy as well. This is, I guess they're classed as groove metal, but that's Lamb of God. I mean, say the groove metal necessarily. I don't know what you describe them as. Fucking heavy. I know that. But anyway, this is their 10th album. It's self-titled, actually, which is a bit strange to be self-titled on the 10th album. But the song is Resurrection Man. If you like Lamb of God, I mean, it's typical Lamb of God, if you like. It's nothing. It's not like something out of the box like we've talked about Avenged Sevenfold. It's a Lamb of God song. It's brilliant, very heavy. I mean, I wanted to have Memento Mori, which is the first track on here. That's my track 1, but obviously couldn't work out like that. That's a great song. I went to see them on. Well, I had tickets to see them on tour for this album. I think 2019 December, and they were one of the first to postpone due to COVID. So by the time we actually went, it was last December. 4 years later. Wow. Well, 3 years later, sorry, 3 years later when I actually went to see it. So it's crazy. There's another band I'll talk about later that the same thing happened. So yeah, Resurrection Man. It's Lamb of God. At the end of the day, it's very heavy. If you either like him or you don't, it's heavy vocals. He doesn't really scream, does he? He's not like it's death metal, but he's obviously does a lot of it's very heavy. If you know, but this is quite a slow song, really, really heavy riff, but it's one of the slower Lamb of God songs. It's just excellent. But Lamb of God are just really good. I like them. I mean, not to everyone's taste, but they deserve quite a lot of praise that they do get, and especially the singer who obviously had his time in prison and all that, which I thought was very commendable because he didn't have to go back to court, he didn't have to face the music, but he did. And great documentary about that as well. If you haven't seen it, I think it's it was started off as a road documentary, didn't it, about their tour, I think, and obviously it evolved into this thing of him going to prison and all that. So yeah, very interesting. Can't remember what it's called though. Someone could put it in the comments if they can remember.
Groove metal, you hear that a lot now. I mean, weren't Pantera like the pioneers of groove metal, weren't they? I think.
Yeah. I suppose
believe.
it's along them lines. I suppose you could say it's along them lines.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I suppose it's just groove laden riffs. The ones where you just kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cheers for that, mate. Thank you very much. What you got then, Don?
I'm sick of labels.
We still have to have them, otherwise we have to listen to 1 million bands instead of 100,000 bands.
Yeah,
I know. But what's groove metal? That doesn't even mean anything. Anyway,
I don't fucking know, mate. Honestly, I don't know. I give up.
Okay, so I am going with a solo artist here. This is a guy called Ian Perry. He has quite a few albums. This is his 6th album, believe it or not. His first was in 1993, so he's been going around for a while. I think he's fronted some bands. I was looking on Discogs. There's probably 6 or 7 bands listed, but I wasn't really familiar with any of them, to be honest. But I do have a couple records of his, a couple solo records that I quite like. It is, I'd say it's the darker side of AOR. I mean, it's melodic, but it's almost got, say, like Empire's catchiest tune, from the Queensryche Empire record. It's got that kind of mainstream feel, but it's not all bright and shiny AOR, if you know what I mean. It's on a label called Metal Mind Records. And I would say his vocals remind me a bit of Eric Martin from Mr. Big. But the music doesn't have that kind of bluesy thing that Mr. Big has. This is definitely like dark but melodic hard rock. So the name of the song is Ingenious, and the name of the album is In Flagrante Delicto, which means committing an offense. So breaking the law, basically. Breaking the law. Yeah, Ian Perry. I believe he has one after this as well. So he must be doing something right, because he can make these records. They must sell enough to make another one, I guess.
Yeah.
He's on, Metal Mind's a smaller label, but they do have a bit of a roster. So good for him. I think he's just, I think he's English, but he's lived in Scandinavia, or it said in the thing that I think he lived in Scandinavia. He lives there now or something, but I think he's English by birth.
Thanks, mate.
Cool.
Have you
heard of him, Lee?
I haven't heard of him, no. What I was trying to figure out, I was trying to think of the most catchiest song on Empire.
Best I Can.
Oh, right, yeah. Like Jet City Woman or something, or I don't know.
What's that one on the? You're a big Empire fan, aren't you, Jam? Is it One and Only? Is it called? That's quite.
One and Only, Best I Can, something like that.
Yeah, they're quite catchy, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Get about Queensryche while you're saying. I went off on a tangent then, thinking, what's the catchiest song on?
We lost you for a minute, didn't we? We lost you.
Ian Perry, though. I do know the name. So no, I've never heard of him. No, never heard of him.
Yeah, he's quite good. So I'm sure he'll probably have something else coming out that you might check out for the channel.
Sounds good, mate. Thank you very much. So I've got a prop for the next one.
Oh,
I've got 2 props for the next one.
Yeah.
Got a t-shirt. One of my
Okay.
I mean, you've got a dirty mind. She laughs when she sees this name of this band, Shaft of Steel. I don't know why.
Didn't you do a recent review of theirs?
Yeah. And
I put up a picture of Kenneth Williams from Carry On.
I didn't actually see that. No.
That was on Facebook. I saw Shaft of Steel, and he's got a. Woo!
There you go. See, proving my point. They sent me this t-shirt, and they sent only a little while ago, and they sent me their album that came out in 2020, which is this one.
Oh, okay.
This was out on. This is called Still Heartbeat. The album. The label is AOR Heaven. I don't think they're going anymore. AOR Heaven. I'm not sure.
Oh no. Oh,
no, I don't think so.
But a few things on that label, but
Yeah, good label. So this is a British band, going to British bands as well. AOR band, signed as well. Look at that from the guys, just in case they make it big. Look, they're signed.
Yeah.
So they're a proper AOR melodic rock band. You wouldn't, you know, they've got quite heavy guitars. They sort of slight influence from Maiden, which is a bit you won't listen to them and think Maiden, but some of the riffing sometimes you can get where they're going with it, but it's definitely AOR. The song's called "Falling Through the Flames." It's a great album as well. This, and they've almost gone. It's like pop rock sort of stuff. They've almost gone even more on the poppier side recently with their recent publishing. More synthesizers and stuff like that, but they still sound absolutely brilliant. Real high-end vocals on, especially that song "Falling Through the Flames," almost Tony Harnell heights on the voice. Just really catchy. AOR, you'll probably like this, Dom. You probably like that.
That's not what I was expecting. I thought Shaft of Steel would be definitely
really heavy.
Manowar territory, you know.
I know it's definitely not though, but yeah, great band, British band as well. Like I said, they brought out a couple of songs this year already. I don't know if an album's coming out, but can't wait for that. Be good. Okay, track 7.
Okay, I'm back in Blige now for the next couple. This is a big one, the Double O, Ozzy Osbourne, with his 12th album, Ordinary Man. Obviously prolific Ozzy Osbourne now, with having a new album out last year as well, which is unbelievable for him. Two in 2 years, whatever. But it hit and miss, this one. It got a bit of stick because I think the last song's got Post Malone on it, which didn't go down well with, I think some of the fans called it a raid, not a great song. But there is some good stuff on it. I mean, title track's really good. Under the Graveyard's a good song. Holy for Tonight I really like, but I've gone with Today Is the End, which is, let's say it's a ballad, but it's a softer one, but it's probably my favourite track on the album. It wasn't released as a single, but it's really good. He sings it in a strange way. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of criticism on the last couple of albums about how much he's actually singing and how much he's auto-tuned or whatever. So the chorus is weird. He goes quite high in the verse, sorry. It's a bit strange, but I don't know, it just adds to the song for me. I like it. I don't think you guys are big fans of the new Aussie stuff, but I like this album. I think the new album they did 2 years ago was probably better. Definitely, it's got more collaborations. I think Tony Iommi's on it, isn't it? And Jeff Beck and all that sort of stuff. This one was the first he'd done for a long time, and I think the producer had a lot to do with how it sounds and who's involved in it. And there's no That Wild on this either, is there? Which there is on the new one, of course. But no, I like it. This song, Today Is the End, ballady, sort of slower, sort of mid-tempo-y song. I like it anyway.
Yeah, I mean that he is taking there is that question, isn't there, hanging over it about how much is going on in the studio. And I mean, man, there's some albums coming out maybe this year or next year that you've got to be wondering how they're fucking going to do it. Vince Neil being one of them for the Motley Crue. And then the biggest one, Don Dokken, going in to make a new Dokken album. I mean, have you heard him lately?
Oh, yeah. I mean, live, he's terrible. But I mean, but it's the same with Vince Neil. I think in the studio, in a controlled environment, I think they're going to sound fine. It's just when they're trying to run around and trying to sing the old songs from 40 years ago, that's where they really get in trouble. But I think recorded output, you know, Don's not going to go for those high notes because he can't do them anymore. Not on new songs, you know what I mean? So, you know, he'll still have the lower register, probably sounds all right. Just can't do Kiss of Death anymore. You know?
Would tell you the truth, I'd rather have them just do what they can do rather than trick around and spend a day just trying to hit one note and then recording it, you know what I mean? Because you could say that's fiddling it a bit, isn't it? You know what I mean? But I am looking forward to especially the Dokken one, actually. And a little bit the Motley Crue one because of the guitarist more than anything. I think it's going to be a bit of a weird one.
Oh, who's that? Oh, John 5?
John 5, yeah.
I didn't know they were making a new record. Jeez.
They're in the studio,
And Guns N' Roses as well. They're doing new stuff, apparently.
Oh, fuck. Well, yeah.
Who?
Guns N' Roses are doing new stuff as well. Recorded.
Did you say who? Did you say who on purpose then, or was he actually?
No, I didn't hear what he said.
Yeah.
But I may have made the same joke even if I did hear it. Man, did you see Glastonbury? Oh my God.
But he shouldn't. Sticking up for him, and you know that I I've been disappointed in Guns N' Roses for a long time now, you know, because I still think that Appetite for Destruction was just their moment and that was it, you know. And I found it really hard to see how they've made so much out of the album. It's cool though. Good luck to them, but he shouldn't run around. He's running around a lot still. You know what I mean? So he shouldn't. Maybe he shouldn't. I don't know. But I mean, to tell you the truth, my missus was watching she was flicking through some of the highlights of Glastonbury. I'd still rather watch that than some of that other fucking indie fucking awful shit where they just stand there and look like they're going to kill themselves every second. Honestly, I can't stand Glastonbury. I fucking hate it. I really do.
I agree. I went to see. I saw Guns N' Roses at Hyde Park the week after Glastonbury. They're brilliant. Honestly, they're brilliant at Hyde Park. I thought they were excellent. I mean, it might just be badly mixed for the telly. It's not mixed for the telly, is it? But it was brilliant. Honestly, it was really good at Hyde Park.
When he went into Sweet Child of Mine, oh my God, it sounded like a 10-year-old girl singing it. Like there was no power whatsoever. It was like, like it. Well, no, it didn't even have that vibrato that he used to have. It just basically sounded like a girl. So,
and it really does depend on the song, because sometimes you hear him sing a song and it don't sound too bad. So perhaps
the first couple tracks on Glastonbury were okay. I was actually like, wow, I'm really surprised.
Yeah,
but halfway through
well, instead of doing a 4-hour fucking set, why don't you do an hour and 20 minutes, but choose the ones you can sing or something, you know?
Yeah.
Well, some of it was awful, you're right, but some of it was all right. But at least they put a show on. And some of them other fuckers, honestly, I'd fall asleep watching some of them fucking bands. They're awful, weren't they? Fucking awful in Glastonbury.
Yep.
I'm going to buy you for your birthday next year as a ticket to Glastonbury.
Anyway, I can't even remember where I was having a go at Guns N' Roses. Where were we?
Dom next, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He was with Ozzy.
Yeah, Ozzy,
yeah. Okay. Sorry, YouTube land for us going off on tangents about Guns N' Roses.
Why isn't it?
Number 7 is the return of a seminal prog-ish band. This is Kansas. They have their 16th album, The Absence of Presence. Track I picked is Animals on the Roof. I've never been a huge fan of theirs. You know, I know the hits like everybody else does. Maybe a bit more, you know, I've heard records here and there and stuff, but I decided to try this out because it was on Inside Out Music, who release most of the best of modern prog bands, really. So they're kind of like one of those labels where you definitely want to check out their new, kind of like Frontiers, I guess, but for more of a modern prog thing. But this was fantastic. Now, again, this band only have the guitar player and the drummer from the original band. So these are you know, the young guns that have come in afterwards, and they write most of the stuff. But it's just fantastic, man. It is just up there with the best of like modern prog that I listen to. I'm really hesitant to call it prog because when you use that term, people just assume that it's going to be obnoxious time changes and solos and, you know, 15-minute songs. But the best of modern prog isn't like that at all. You know, it's borderline AOR. It's just not quite as major chord, like, you know, bright choruses, but it's still very melodic. All the singers are melodic. And most of the bands don't do that kind of 10-minute soloing that Yes did in 1975 or whatever. It's really evolved into another thing. It's just melodic rock to me. But anyway, so yeah, it's 16th album, so good for them. I'm looking forward to something else as long as they keep this lineup. It should be fantastic. So, Blast from the Past, Kansas.
Yeah. Cheers, mate. Thank you very much. So I'm going, my track 7. Got to thank Mark Clower for this because he asked me to do a reaction. I think it would have been that probably 2020, I'm not sure. But this is doom metal. I wouldn't say fully doom, but they are a sort of straightforward metal, stroke doom metal band. You know, got real doomy riffs sometimes, then go into the more straightforward stuff. They brought out an album. It was their last album. They got an album coming out this year, but the last album in 2020 is called Lamenting of the Innocent. Sounds heavy, doesn't it? And the song is Age of the Damned. And it's fucking excellent.
And what's the name of the band? Sorry?
Sorcerer.
Oh, I like them. I like Sorcerer.
I didn't even say the name of the band, did I?
No, I don't think you did.
Fucking said the fucking album and the song and not the band. What the fuck's that all about? Anyway, well, you know them. That's good. So they're a Swedish doom metal band, I suppose you could call them. This is a brilliant, slow to medium paced, epic 8-minute track. Very doomy, this one, actually. More on their doomier side, Sabbathy. And I suppose when you're talking about, you know, the vocalist is amazing, almost around the Dio, Tony Martin.
Tony Martin, yeah.
Tony Martin power. They've been bringing out actually some Tony Martin and sort of covers, of Sabbath covers as well, like in the last few months.
When Death Calls, I know they did that one.
Yeah, his voice, man, it's just fucking amazing. So yeah, I actually, because I really can't wait for new music. So I contacted the band the other week and said, when's the new album out? They said, we haven't got a date yet, but it's this year. So I'm really getting fucking excited about that because they're a great band. Absolutely brilliant. And Sorcerer, Age of the Damned is just a massive epic song. It's just got so much power. They're so heavy, the band.
Yeah.
But yeah, great band. Great band.
I agree. Yeah, they did. I mean, if you had to compare, I would say maybe around Headless Cross era Sabbath, you know, or Idol. Maybe even a bit more doomier than that, but still, you know, still songs and melody and stuff. You know, I think a lot of those doom metal bands build a song on the riff rather than writing a song, and you know what I mean. But these guys are great. I think I had them on All Killer a few years ago, so that just shows how much you pay attention.
All right, that's enough of that one. Right, well, track 8. I'd always pay attention.
Yeah, okay. I'm going to Dom's former home for the first of 2 times in the rest of my list. I'm going to Scotland. I'm going to Ailstorm. Obviously the pirate metal band I like. This is from their 6th album called Curse of the Crystal Coconut.
Oh, listen, you better give us a good title. You better give us
Oh, yeah.
What did you say the album was called?
Curse of the Crystal Coconut.
All right, that's good enough. Right, what's the song?
The song is called Shit Boat, brackets, no fans.
Shit Boat.
Shit Boat, yeah. No fans. Yeah. So it's like, I guess it's like an old football chant, isn't it, when you got no fans or any of that. But, I mean, the song is brilliant. Some great songs on here. Treasure Chest, Party Quest, Tortuga, Pirate Metal Drinking Crew. But this one's like an old sea shanty. And the verse goes, your pirate ship could eat a bag of dicks. I mean, it's brilliant. You know, you can't beat that. Was
this before their controversy, online controversial comments?
It's probably about that time. I mean, you got to watch. The song's only about 2 minutes long, and it's got a cartoon video for it. So go on YouTube, have a look at Shitboat No Fans. You'll be singing along by the end of it. It's fucking brilliant. So yeah, I think it's post-controversy or pre-controversy. I'm not sure, one of the two, obviously. But yeah, 2020 gone probably about there. But yeah, great band live. Ailstorm, obviously not something. If you don't want to, if you're getting a bit too fed up with your serious metal, then chuck a bit of Ailstorm on. That will give you a little chuckle. There you go.
Thanks, mate. Yeah, I mean,
isn't there a band called? Sorry, isn't there a band called Hailstorm as well?
Yeah.
Isn't that
Lizzie
wild?
Hale? Yeah.
One's called Ailstorm and one's called Hailstorm. Fucking hell. That's as bad as 2 LA Guns.
Yeah, they're quite different. You're not going to get the two muddled up.
I take it that is the title, the name of the band is off of Hailstorm, and they take it that it came after, and that's the joke.
No, well, Hailstorm obviously as in drinking ale.
Yeah, I know, but they took the Hailstorm name and then thought that'd be funny. We call it Hailstorm.
I don't know. They probably came out about the same time, I would suggest. They might have been out even longer than Hailstorm. I don't know.
Yeah, it might just be a coincidence.
Yeah, I think it's. I mean, one's obviously Scottish, one's American, so Eminem.
Okay. Let's get a bit of Hailstorm in. Cheers for that, mate.
Bit of
Thank you very
Hailstorm, yeah.
much. Right, what you got then, Don?
Curse of the Crystal Coconut. Was that? Let's go.
Oh, it's
Curse of the
writing
Crystal
down.
Coconut.
It's
Yeah.
writing down. Look, so you have to get hold of that out.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Shitboat, no
What?
fans.
Oh,
Shitboat, no fans.
yeah. Sounds like the latest Indiana Jones film.
That was good, actually.
yeah.
I enjoyed that.
Okay. I'm back to my melodic prog rock once again. This band is called Blind Ego. Name of the album is Preaching to the Choir, and a song is called Broken Land. Now, this is a solo project from another band called RPWL, who have been around for a couple decades probably now. It's their fifth album. They're German. As I said, it's very similar to the one I just mentioned. Melodic, but just fantastic songwriting and riffs still. And this one has a great riff. God, it's really strange though. I don't even know how to describe it, but it's a great riff. So I'll just have to leave it at that. And if you want to check it out, you can. If I had to compare to anything, Porcupine Tree is another big point. Even has a bit of King's X vibe to it. You know how they get a bit more do, that kind of thing. Yeah, but man, Blind Ego. I only have this one, but I think there's more I really need to get on it and get some more of their tunes. But yeah, great album, Blind Ego.
Cool. Thanks, mate. Another bit of prog rock. Thank you very much. I'm going to a fresh band for my number 8, but this is not really a fresh song, but it's from a bit of a classic band called Heathen. I think you might know these. You know them, Jan, don't you?
Yeah, I've heard of Heathen, yeah.
The song is called Shrine of Apathy from the Empire of the Blind album. It is a real heavy album, but this song not so much. But I do love the whole album. They're an American band from the 80s. Great vocalist. He sings, doesn't shout and stuff like that. This is like an epic thrash ballad, really quiet parts, and it is heavy parts and all that. But yeah, just slow, brooding thrash song, really, but a slow song that is brilliant, absolutely brilliant, and a real strong album as well. And it's quite a bit of that now, isn't it? Bands that were around back then, and they've only had like 4 albums out, so there's been massive gaps in their career. I haven't really gone back and listened to the 80s stuff, but this one is just absolutely brilliant. Some crushing riffs across the album. Brilliant album. There you go. Heathen.
Are they Christian?
No.
No. Okay.
No.
Not called Heathen, I wouldn't have thought.
No, the opposite. Yeah. I mean, they're very. I mean, on the album cover, I think it's like a red and black, and there's a skull on it, and all sorts. Yeah, they're very.
Oh, excellent.
Evil looking. There you go. Yeah, Heathen, Shrine of Apathy. There you go. They must be due a new album out as well, surely. So. All right. Next, what you got in, Jan?
I'm staying with a thrash-ish theme. I'm going to Canada, and this is one of my favourite bands, Annihilator, with their 17th and, to this date, last album, which is quite unlike them. They are quite prolific usually. I was surprised during lockdown Jeff hasn't put out something else. I know they have plans for touring and stuff, but that's not come about either. But this is from Ballistic Sadistic album, 17th, as I said. The song is called Lip Service. Very catchy song. It's got the typical Annihilator sort of gallop, but it's also got it's got the sort of spoken bits. They did the spoken verses, so it reminds me very much of stuff like Never Neverland or Ice and Hell, all the classic Annihilator first couple of 3 albums that they did. It's really got that feeling, the sort of theatrical sort of singing. It's hard to describe, a bit like there's a Pink Floyd song at the end of The Wall where they get the trial, where he does that theatrical type singing, that sort of stuff. And he does that on some of the Annihilator earlier albums. It's got that sort of feel to it, but it's just a galloping sort of mid-paced, not overly thrashy, but a typical catchy Annihilator song. And yeah, it's not a bad album. I don't think it's as good as some of the previous ones they've done. They've done a lot of albums in the last 10 years that have been really, really good, actually. Something in for that perhaps not so good, but this one's probably not one of the better ones, but this song is announced. It's probably the best on it. It's called Lip Service, and yeah, worth a listen. Annihilator, still a good band. still going, and hopefully they'll do something new soon. I hope. It's been 3 years now, so.
When they toying around with Stu Block doing some vocals, they did it on one song, didn't they?
I know. Before lockdown happened, they were planning on doing Never Neverland, anniversary tour, and they were going to get in Tobin Farr, was it the singer on that album? They were going to get him back and do stuff like that, but obviously that all went to pot, so I don't know what they're doing now. But yeah, they may have a few. But I mean, Stu Block singing for, it was Iced Earth, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's gone back to his old band now, and I don't know what happened to Iced Earth. Have you heard?
Yeah.
Right, okay. Thanks for that, mate. Much appreciated. What you got then, Dom?
What was the name of that album title again?
Ballistic Sadistic.
Yeah, I saw you smiling. Yeah.
Ballistic Sadistic. That's pretty good. I like that.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Okay, number 9 for me. Guess it's a bit predictable. Frontiers. This is Dirty Shirley, which is George Lynch and Dino Jalusic. Self-titled album. Track I picked is Escalator to Purgatory. I think a lot of our listeners probably know who Dino is by now. Just a great classic voice, best of Coverdale and Dio and all that. Kind of like Yorn, just can sing the phone book and makes it sound great. This reminds me very much of Lynch Mob. It's not a million miles away. It's very riffy. Early Aerosmith, maybe, that kind of real kind of dirty, sleazy vibe, but just great, What can you say? George really comes up with the goods, I have to say, on all these Frontier projects, whether it's Sweet and Lynch or whatever else he has. The tracks are always good, man. Always has good songwriting, and this is another one. Don't know if they'll ever have another album, because I think there's some sort of contract dispute with Dino and Frontiers. I think another label says that he should only be singing for their label or something, and don't know what the deal is, but they might work it out and they might have another one. I know Lynch wants to do another one with him, so we'll see. But yeah, great melodic rock album, really good.
I've got to go with you on the Dino Jalusic, man. He's just maybe in that sort of genre of metal vocalists, singers, probably the best one at the moment, I reckon. So much power, unbelievable power in his voice.
Yeah.
I'm glad I can sort of get something out there I've been wanting to talk about, because I don't think the same people watch out this program as they do my reactions and stuff like that, because people have been really trying to push the Sweet and Lynch album onto me like this year.
I haven't heard the new one. I only have the older one.
Yeah, and I've and it's sad to say, I mean, I think Michael Sweet's in great form like on that album, but Lynch is playing, and he's always been a great guitar player, one of my favourites from the 80s, obviously. But some of it, man, he just almost feels like he's falling asleep halfway through some of his fucking soloing sometimes. There's one on like the beginning, there's a single they brought out, and he almost starts playing his like guitar solo, and then he almost like, it feels like a mistake, like he's like oh
shit,
and I was like, I don't know, he's always been his tone and all that is a bit shit on the new one, but that's the reason why I haven't really covered that album, because I don't want to ever go at it, because you got one person I think who's performing great on it, Michael Sweet, and the other one I think he almost like he's not really interested. It sounds like that, if you can hear that in a guitar player, someone who ain't interested, that's not good, is it? If you can actually hear that, it almost sounds lazy at times. But then you see him live and he plays like, jumps on stage with Doc, and he plays like he's fucking always played,
Treads, yeah. You're not the only one that feels that way. A friend of mine, last couple of years, he just says, God, when is he gonna start soloing again, like proper Lynch solos and stuff? Don't know, I guess he's just bored, really.
It sounds that way. It does sound like he's bored. And I remember after this, there's been 3 Sweet and Lynch albums so far. And the second one, Michael Sweet had a bit of the ump with George Lynch, because he basically didn't want to promote or get involved with any of the promotion and left it all to him. And I was surprised he did a third one. And on this third one, I don't know what the situation that has been, but it's almost like he's fucking can't be bothered to play. It's a bit weird.
Yeah, maybe the collaboration isn't to, you know, maybe that was the last one. Maybe they have some problems. Because you know, a lot of these projects, you know, these guys aren't in the studio together. They're just passing tapes over the internet and doing their thing. So yeah, so but I thought Dirty Shirley was quite good.
Oh no, I agree with you. That's a good album. But I'd almost be like, fucking, I can imagine Michael Sweet, because he's a brilliant guitarist, isn't he? He's pretty intricate and spot on. You can imagine fucking Lynch sending their tapes over and him being, what the fuck is that? I could imagine him thinking, what the fuck is this? Maybe not their words, but you know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ! What the hell are you doing?
No, that's even worse. That's even worse.
I know.
Anyway, no, that is a great album, by the way, and Dino just uplifts everything on that album. It's fucking amazing, really. Cheers, mate. Thanks for that. Great choice. I am actually going to Striper for my next one, so it's a bit of a weird one there. So they brought out one of their best albums. They've been bringing out brilliant albums for a while now, but even The Devil Believes was brought out this year, and it was actually it was my top album of the year, and it's such a brilliant album. And the song is Invitation Only, obviously to heaven. You wouldn't get in, Dom, obviously. But this is a song they pulled from the idea. I think it was a completely sort of the riff or something. It was pulled from like their Against the Law time when they went in the early 90s. I think it was 1990. And it was a song that was floating around then, and they brought it back for this. And all the songs on that album are just absolutely amazing. Yeah, but a great band that just seems to be getting better and better. Striper, Invitation Only, probably one of the catchiest songs on that album.
I love that song. It's amazing that you picked that song, because that would have been my number 9 if I didn't know that you would already talk about Striper.
Yeah.
But that is definitely one of my favorite Striper tracks of all time. I just think it's just fantastic. As you say, it's super catchy. I'm not surprised it comes from the earlier part of the band.
Yeah.
Because, you know, it does have that feel, you know. It's a lot of their newer stuff is obviously heavier than this song. But yeah, I think I can't get enough of this song. I love it.
It's got that like swirling. It's got that swirling like synth going on in the background on that chorus.
Yeah,
it's amazing. It really is. It's a great song. Yeah, I'm glad you like that.
Love it.
That's brilliant.
Love it. Yeah.
Okay, number 10. What you got? Sorry about. We're taking quite a bit of time today. I think we've missed each other so much.
Oh, that's it. Yeah.
Stop talking.
All right. Yeah. Okay.
Let's get these last 3 done.
all of us.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Stick to the goal.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. Number 10.
Okay. This is definitely a result of lockdown. This is definitely I would have picked up and heard myself if I hadn't been on Planet Rock to start with. But it's something that obviously I had interest to start with. And that's going back to Scotland. This is Fish, obviously former Marillion singer. I do like early Marillion a lot. I love the first 3 albums. And I like Season's End, and I know the new stuff is absolutely held in great high regard, especially by Karen. This is Verschmelt, which is the title track from that album. It's about 7 minutes long, so I don't know if it was an edited version they played on Planet Rock. I don't remember it seeming that long, but I've heard obviously both versions. It possibly was the same version. It's got a very, Fish has got a distinctive voice, but it's got a very Genesis-y feel, which you sort of expect from sort of Marillion, like that sort of thing. Love the song. I'll do a quick read from Wikipedia. Verschmelz is German. It means world pain, apparently. And it's a literary concept describing the feeling experienced by an individual who believes that reality can never satisfy the expectation of the mind, resulting in a mood of wariness or sadness about life arising from the acute awareness of evil and suffering. There you go.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's heavy, man.
Heavy. So, anyway, very, very good song. I am actually going to see Marillion. We are going to see Marillion on their tour. I don't think they've got an album out this year. I'm not sure, but it'll be interesting because I've never seen them.
I think you'll really enjoy it, yeah.
Yeah, I'll try and listen to some of the newer stuff if I can, but I know they're very proggy now and they do a lot of their songs really long and stuff, but I know they've got a lot of fans as well, so yeah, I look forward to that. But this is Fish, anyway, who's not in Meridian anymore and hasn't been for a very long time.
I have that album as well, and I do like it. Yeah, didn't make it on my top 12, but yeah, I think he's been doing good solo output. I think he kind of didn't want to do anything that sounded like Marillion for a while when he first left the band, but I think he's more kind of embraced that again. So his more recent material, last 10, 20 years, has been, you know, more reminiscent of.
Yeah, it definitely feels that way, and say a bit of Genesis-y feel to me, modern Genesis. I mean, fairly modern Genesis.
Thanks, mate. Much appreciated. Dom?
Okay, I'm going with a cover version that is not Yorn. This is Kirk Weinstein from Crowbar and Downed. This is his first solo album. The name of the album is Dream in Motion, and he does Aqualung by Jethro Tull.
Oh, yeah.
But it's not really a straight, he really screws around with the rhythms. The whole mid part, he just does a straight 4/4. It just punches it up so much. There's lots of overdubbed guitars, lots of dual guitar stuff on there. It's much more involved than the original version of Aqualung. It's definitely more Sabbathy. This sounds as if Ozzy Sabbath were the ones that brought out Aqualung rather than Jethro Tull. It really does. It's more doomy. But yeah, great. Oh, the guitars, you know, just multi-layered and just sound just heavy as fuck and really good. So yeah, our old pal Kirk Weinstein with his first solo album.
Is he who's on vocals? Is it him doing vocals?
Yeah.
Well, I'm just interested. That sounds. Is it anything like Down? Like, is it a cover album or is it?
No. This is the only cover on the album. You know, I mean, the album is still heavy, but not as heavy as Crowbar. Okay. It's, you know, I don't want to say it's melodic. I mean, it is sort of, but it's still very doomy. Okay. You know, you still got that guitar tone and stuff, that great guitar tone, but it's not. It's a bit easier. It's a bit more palatable than say Crowbar.
Okay, cool. Cheers, mate. I mean, I love Down, obviously, don't I? So it's just, yeah, okay, cool.
Great cover.
Excellent. Right, okay, my track 10, I think this might be a one and done band, I'm not really sure. But it's a band called Passion. They were on Frontiers. They brought out an album, self-titled album. This song's called Big Game. They're a British band. It's a singer that used to be in a band called Night by Night that was also a one and done a few years ago, which I think I've raved about them a little bit on here as well with you guys. And yeah, this is a great album. They almost sound like a bit like Danger, bit of Dokken in there, thrown in there, I would say. This is a great rocking, sort of heavy rock track. Sounds really American sounding, you know, it really does, although they're British. But I don't know, I haven't heard anything else from this band. And now you're thinking, like, you know, we're getting to the stage now with bands, especially Frontiers, they're releasing more regular, almost like they did in the 80s now, you know, pushing in sometimes an album a year, at least an album every 2 years. So yeah, this was I've heard nothing from them since then, so perhaps it is a one and done. I don't know. But Passion, Big Game. I don't know if you've heard them. Dom, you seem to be nodding like you might have heard them, but you'd like them.
I have that album. Yes, I do. Yeah. I have it. Yeah. Again, yeah. Good, young, fresh sounding band. Yeah. Didn't quite make my list because there's so many other contenders, but of course, yeah. I would love to hear something. Yeah, it's similar to that band I talked about maybe last, The Brink. Who were a Frontiers band. I know they're still together. I just don't know if they're still on Frontiers or if they have any money behind them to make a new record. I'm not sure, but yeah, similar situation where it's now been good 3 or 4 years since the first Frontiers album came out. Don't know.
Well, then, thank you very much. Cool. Oh, that's me, isn't it? Thank you, Matt, very much, Lee. Cheers for that. It's great.
Thank you, Lee.
Thanks, Lee.
Thank you very much, Lee.
Jam, number 11, mate.
Okay, my last two are cover versions as well, actually. This is the track I struggled with the most, so it's not I will admit this is not the best track, but I'll struggle a bit on track 11. It's from Ellefson, obviously formerly of Megadeth. he did a solo album, which was a covers album called No Cover. And the cover's quite cool, actually. It's a bit like On Through the Night. It's got like a truck on the front of it, which is quite cool. There's some good stuff on here. Free Will Burning, Rebel Yells on here, Wasted by Def Leppard, Riff Raff, Over the Mountain, and the cover version of Beth, which obviously seems a bit strange. But this is Love Machine, obviously Wasp cover version. It's pretty good.
B,
exactly.
I haven't heard you sing yet, Don.
All I need's my love machine. Oh,
hello.
B.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Love
Who
that.
just canceled another tour because of his old back.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it's that's right. No, it's gone. It's a slightly thrashed up version. Dave Allison, believe, is singing on this album. I think he sings, and I think he should stick to his bass playing.
Oh, okay.
Stick to his bass playing.
Yeah, he's on this song. It's not great, but go on. So I struggled a bit, but yeah, great song, isn't it? Love Machine. We probably didn't have it in my 1985 list. I don't know when did that come out. I don't know, something like that. But it's in there now anyway. Love Machine from Ellison. It's if you like some classic rock metal cover versions, check it out.
So you should either stick to his cam work that he does on his laptop or bass playing, one of the two.
Yeah, that's it. Don't quit your day job.
I feel bad for the guy, because how many people on Earth have done that and it's just not leaked? You know what I mean? I mean, he probably should have had more of a sense that he is fairly famous, so it might get out there. But it wasn't like he was perving with. But
no.
I mean, people who watch this program, you should see the editing I have to do.
I was going to ask you, this dawned on me the other day, because we never see your bottom half. I wonder if you ever did any reviews in your pants.
I haven't got any legs.
All right, wouldn't you need to wear pants anyway?
Oh dear.
Anyway. You would still need pants if you didn't have any legs.
Yeah, this is true. Right, cheers for that. I remember that coming out, actually, that album, Dom, just to and Jam, just to change the subject. It had a bit of stick over the cover that it was just like it was nearly exactly the same as the Def Leppard one.
Yeah.
Wasn't it? Yeah. But it's got Wasted on there, so that's off On Through the Night. So perhaps it was meant to be that way.
Oh, definitely, without doubt, it's a inspiration. No doubt about that.
Okay, cool. Right, maybe Def Leppard should have sued him. They haven't got enough money, have they? Probably. Yeah, there you go. Okay, thanks for that, Jam. That sort of almost killer album with number 11, track 11.
80% killer.
Yeah. Well, what you got, Dom?
Okay. Well, this is killer. This is another band that have been around forever and ever. This is Blue Oyster Cult. Their first album in 19 years.
Wow.
Album's called Symbol Remains, and this track is The Alchemist. Now, I didn't realize that this is always my favorite track off this album, but I didn't realize until I went online to get a bit of info. This is everyone's favorite track off this album, I guess. This is like the standout one. It is long. 6 minutes. So, I mean, about half of an Iron Maiden track these days, but it's got a real kind of Iommi riff. I'm not going to say which era Sabbath, but it's got that kind of feel. I'd call it heavy prog. I wouldn't call it prog metal because they're not going into different time signatures and all that kind of stuff. But they do have a few time changes through. In the 6 minutes, there's a lot of sections, but they're all kind of riffy, and some are more upbeat than the others. And God, it's fantastic though, and the vocal is great. The vocal is they have two singers. This one is Eric Bloom, who's got the more kind of haunting, kind of scary voice. The one that Tobias from Ghost really, I know, was very influenced by him. And again, this is Frontiers. So Frontiers stood up after 20 years of Blue Oyster Cult not having an album, and they put the money into it, and we got a new great album. So there you go. But this is definitely the standout track, The Alchemist.
Thank you very much, mate. Cheers. Classic band. So I'm going, my track 11 is also Frontiers. they were with Frontiers at the time. They're not now. And this was the last album with Eric Grumble. So he did Heat 2, it was called, which is a bit strange because it's like their 6th album or something. So
you would think that with the singer coming back, that would have been called Heat 2.
I know. It's a really weird. It's really strange, and it might have been the fact that the album before this, which I know you like as well, Dom, Into the Great Unknown, was a bit of a weird departure, a bit more poppy.
Yes,
and it's
had a lot
almost
more
like so it might almost be like, oh, we're going back now to what we are. I don't fucking know, but it was. I mean, it was so catchy. The whole album is just ridiculously like catchy. You know? It's just this song's called Rise, which is a brilliant track. It's the last track on the album. They actually recorded this later on with the old singer that came back again, just to show that he can sing the Eric Grumble stuff. I don't know, but yeah, Heat 2 is the album. Rise is the song. It's brilliant, and unbelievably, I think I spoke about this, gutted when he left, Eric Grumble, who's obviously gone to Skid Row now. But that album last year was even better with Kenny the Cremo coming back. So I mean, just ridiculous, great band, just so consistent. Heat and Rise, there you go. Right, track 12, what you got then?
Okay, I'm finishing. Well, my last one is a cover version, as I said, but I didn't actually realise it was a cover version because I'd never heard the original. I just thought it was a track. It wasn't until I was writing it down that I realised it was a cover version. It's a cover version of a band called Enter the Hunt, who I've never heard of. The song is called Fighters, and it's by Catatonia from their City Burials album. Great, as you know, they were sort of a death metal band, but Catatonia now a prog metal band, prog rock band. They're absolutely fantastic in the sort of the vein of Opeth, different to Opeth, but that vein. They're not no death metal vocals anymore. Jonas, the singer, is absolutely one of the best vocalists you'll ever hear. He's absolutely fantastic. Yeah, song's called Fighters. Probably my favourite track on the album. I think Dom's got this album, City Burials. I had tickets to go and see them on this tour in February 2020. So actually, we went February 2023. How long it was postponed, and they're actually touring on their new album, which is called Sky Border Stars. So there you go. Yeah. They didn't really play much of this album because they were doing their other album that come out last year. So there you go. But yeah, Catatonia, great if you like sort of prog metal, that sort of stuff, Scandinavian, Swedish, and Jonas, brilliant singer. So there you go. City Burials, Catatonia, Fighters in the song.
Thanks, mate. Thanks for your 80% killer album list. Brilliant as usual. Dom, what you got there, mate?
Okay, so we have the first official controversy here on All Killer No More.
What? There's been loads of controversy.
Well, this is a big one.
Oh fuck! We've got to say yes or no to you to allow.
No. I'm just saying. This is my research, and my iTunes have it as number 12. This is Catatonia. But my number 12 is Closing of the Sky. Now there were some different releases of this album.
Yeah.
This is a bonus track on the limited media book edition, whatever that means.
Okay.
But this is the version of the album that I got online, like the day it came out or whatever. So I don't know who's right and who's wrong. It probably doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. I think this is the version I got as well. I downloaded it.
It does to me. It matters to me. It matters to me.
If you go on Wikipedia, there's the main album, and then there's one version that has a bonus track at number 11. And then this one, I think, has 11 and 12, or maybe that's...
Okay, so I've got... Obviously, we have to believe Wiki, don't we? So
yeah, that's what I got from.
So on Wiki, you've got 11 tracks on the album.
Mm-hmm.
On the Japanese edition bonus track, Fighters is number 12.
Right.
Okay. On the limited media book edition bonus track one, Fighters is number 13.
Right.
And Closing of the Sky is 12.
Closing of the Sky is 12.
Which is the track that I picked.
So it just depends what version you downloaded. I didn't realise that. I thought there you go. Anyway,
we can both have it.
We can both have it.
So we both end with number 12, Catatonia.
Yeah.
But it's not the same, but it's not the same song.
That's fucking brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
That's great. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Jam pretty much covered it. This is their 11th album.
Yeah,
they started off as a very heavy band, kind of like Opeth, kind of have the same trajectory in their career where at some point it kind of morphed into more of a melodic thing. And now it's just straight melodic. There's no Cookie Monster or anything on here. Closing the Sky, you know, I didn't realize until this week when I was doing research that it was a bonus track, because as I said, just on my iTunes, it's just track number 12. I just assumed it was the last track on the album. But it's always been one of my favorites. It's a shame it wasn't on the regular album, so people who bought the vinyl maybe don't even know this song. But yeah, Closing the Sky, fantastic stuff. Yeah, Catatonia, really, really fantastic band these days.
Yeah.
You know what? I think we have to allow this because it's so confusing now with all the, you know, because everything's, most people, 99% of people do stream, don't they? You know, whether it's just, it can be really confusing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And you know, I mean, if they're going to release different versions in different countries and stuff, there's probably going to be some.
Agreed.
So there you go.
Thank you very much, guys. Excellent list, by the way, Dom. My number 12. This isn't my favourite song on the album, but I think the album in general was a really good album considering. And that's AC/DC, Elsevier Power Up.
I agree.
I wonder if that's to be mentioned. Yeah.
Now, I obviously wanted Mists of Time because that's
you know, that's our favorite song off that album. Yeah.
But you know, every song on it, you couldn't say any of them were bad. I think they were all good tracks. And the last track is Code Red, which is almost has a nervous shakedown type riff at the beginning.
Agreed.
But I'm sure a lot of other songs had a nervous shakedown riff-ish as well. But man, what I was noticing when I had a little listen to this song last night, and I was watching it on YouTube, and I was fucking hell, didn't Brian Johnson sound good? Didn't he sound fucking brilliant on the album? And 73 was when they did the album.
Wow.
And I, you know, just he sounds amazing. I was looking under the comments, and I only found that out because I was looking under the comments, and someone said 73 years old. Fucking amazing. You know what I mean? And yeah, I mean, I've got to say, he is I've always been a Bon Scott fan. You know, I've always preferred Bon Scott in AC/DC, but I've never had a problem with Brian Johnson.
Yeah.
But man, I've got to say, fucking, he sounds amazing on that song and the whole album. Sure. So pretty cool to end on AC/DC, isn't it? After all these years, I think that's really cool.
That album was such a pleasant surprise. I just wasn't expecting anything. You know what I mean? No. Because it was kind of pieced together with ex-members and members. You know, it was really hodgepodge. But I even like it more than Rock or Bust. I just think it's a really, really well crafted album.
It was. Okay, that's it done for the list. We really have got a run through by you know, if you've got any honourables, Jam, by name really, because we
just be quickly. Yeah, I had AC/DC down there. Of course, I didn't know if anyone was going to mention it. Avatar brought out Hunter Gatherer, which is pretty good. Blackstone Cherry, Human Condition, okay. Corey Taylor's debut album was good. CMFT, quite like some of that. Not all of it, some of it. Killer Be Killed, second album, pretty good. And then Zakk Wylde did a cover of the first Black Sabbath album called under the name Zakk Sabbath, and it was called Vertigo. The album, it's really, really good. Really good. The Wizard is brilliant. Obviously, Zakk singing on that, so that's worth listening to. I think it's limited edition. You might struggle to find it physically anyway, but online, I'm sure you can find it. That's it.
Thanks, mate. Dom?
I'm good, thank you.
Okay. Just reading them off, I've got Firewind with Herbie Langens. That was a good album. You got Primal Fear brought out Metal Commando. Just about to bring out another album this year. FM brought out Synchronized. That was good. Girish and the Chronicles, one of the best rock stroke metal bands around at the moment from India. They brought out Rock the Highway.
Is that the one that they've reissued now? Is that
no,
that's another album.
That was Back to Earth, I think, or Back from Earth or something. That was their debut album they reissued, which was really good as well.
Right. Sorry.
Storm Force, they're a great band. Age of Fear, that was might be a one-off. Revolution Saints brought out Rise. Waiting for Monday. That was a great album. Might be a one-off as
All
well.
of these bands were on my short list. That's amazing.
I don't know if this one were actually, Dom. I think you would really like it. This album. If you looked at the cover, you would think it's some sort of punk band, but they are an AOR melodic rock band, the Ragged Saints. Sonic.
That one I don't know.
Sonic Playground Revisited, really catchy AOR melodic rock. And
Okay.
Iron Savior brought out an album, Skycrest. They're a great metal band. That's it. So really,
cool.
a lot of albums, yeah, for sure. So, right, that was absolutely superb. I did have track 11, by the way, as on Metal Commando. They brought out a 13-minute song, Primal Fear, on that album, the longest song they've ever brought out, which is really epic. I actually had it as my number 11, and then I swapped it out for Heat. I couldn't not speak about Heat, but that's an epic song if you ever get to hear that. So,
cool.
All right, guys, thank you very much.
Okay.
It's been a pleasure as always. Sorry I've rabbited probably more than normal, so I apologise.
Not just you, buddy. Not just
That's
you.
all right. We're all chatting, aren't we?
Right. See you for 2021, yeah?
Yeah,
Yep.
post your lists. We love it.
Yeah, definitely a list.
Yeah. See you later, guys. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Cheers.